Good afternoon, everyone. Jet stream shifting, low, strange pressure developing, record heat coming to the western United States, but eastern Canada and the US, snow. Taking a look at the 35,000 cows that died in the snowstorm just a week ago. And trying to search for these unusual snows in May in Arizona, I could not find it on the search engines. I had to go back to Oppenheimer Ranch's video to actually find the link for this. Ungoogleable. U.S. Department of Agriculture crop bulletin, winter wheat condition, very poor, poor, fair, good, and excellent. Huge changes from last year. Oat planting percentages, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, dismal. Barley percentages, same states, extra dismal, 1%. Spring wheat planted, wait, that's almost 4 times lower than the average. And this video is brought to you by TrueLeafMarket.com. You can find the link in the description box below for heirloom and organic seeds. And as would be expected with wandering jet streams due to a weakening magnetosphere as we enter further into the grand solar minimum. These flows are not normal, bringing record heat already this early in the year. Phoenix, Arizona, 106 Fahrenheit, a little bit cooler on Monday. But what's interesting, the news not really telling you, eastern Canada, eastern United States, snow over the next 10 days. Let me wide that out for you. You can see exactly where it's coming. And these are in inches. So look at that in eastern Canada. They're looking at something 15 inches more. And notice in the central western United States, the same areas, I want you to remember where these are. These are in the crop reports that I'm going to cover. But look at that North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota area and Montana. That's a lot of snow for this late, already May. We're going to be getting snows all the way until June. So David, a subscriber of mine, sent this article for me. 35,000 cows die in Texas and New Mexico after the winter storm. This was just, what, about 9 days ago? Did you see this in the news? 35,000 cows died, frozen, suffocated. Some areas had 14 feet of snow. This pulls out of the Roswell Gazette. And they were trying to use the Texas farmers to calculate $2,200 for each head. Multiply by 35,000. That is millions and millions lost. Now, how are these farmers going to repay? How are they going to get loans for next year? These are the things that we're talking about with these mounting losses in the agricultural system. And I do remember seeing Diamond up in Oppenheimer Ranch doing a video last week about snows in May in Arizona. So I thought I would connect the two because they are bordering states. Sure enough, I searched through Google and Yahoo. I could not find anything. And I do consider myself very good at surfing information because I've been doing this for years trying to locate these types of stories. That is an unfindable, literally. Put in Arizona snow 2018 and see if you come up with anything. Airport closures, not a peep. These types of images, I actually had to go back to Diamond's video to find the link for this one. That's how unsearchable it is. And I am going to say absolutely on purpose. Let's take a look. Flagstaff weather, May, unusual, very. Maybe a trace, but not this deep. Which brings me to the crop bulletin. Winter wheat percent headed. This means those heads that we harvest, that we eat, and we call it wheat. This is that part of the plant. We're not talking about the stems coming out. That's an entirely different thing. The grass coming up from barley grass, wheatgrass, that's an entirely different thing. We are talking the full mature plants that are now heading. Let's take a look at April 29, 2018 compared to the 5-year average. And I've highlighted everything in the blue box, and when you come to the bottom with the total compared to the 5-year average, they're just at about half. I want to also come on here with the actual quality of the wheat that's going to come out of the fields. That's something very different than what they're showing you in the amount planted and what's heading. Winter wheat by condition percentage, very poor is the VP, poor is the P, fair is F, G is good, and EX is excellent. I want you to look at the very bottom, previous year. compared to previous week, which is just last week of this year. Look at the difference in the very poor quality. The very poor is 5 times higher than last year. The good, look at that, 25% compared to 45%. And the excellent has reduced 3% as well. These are the numbers they're not showing you in the media. And talking about winter wheat condition, I just wanted to white out the whole chart here so you could actually see by the state what it was comparatively to the 5-year average. And I'm going to let you pause the screen if you'd like to take a look. We have a few more of these charts and graphs coming right up here. I've highlighted everything in blue so it's easy to find. Let's talk about spring wheat. They're planting that now. The first thing that will be harvested is the winter wheat. But here we come. We're into the planting now of the spring wheat. Look at the dismal figures. And if you even just go down to the very bottom first and look at that, 10% compared to 36. Oh, wait a second. That's nearly 4 times lower, huh? But when we look at these same states, Minnesota, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, dismal is some of the words that they're using in the news reports on how the planting is going on. Also, let's take a look at oats. And we see these same states reoccurring. Where have we seen Minnesota before? Where did I see North Dakota, South Dakota? Oh yeah, in the previous slide. Different crops still behind. But 39 compared to 64, a third behind, let's say. Let's go over to barley. Take a look. Minnesota again, North Dakota. Look at those dismal figures. 1% planted compared to 25% planted in Minnesota. Same in North Dakota. So if you're going to start to look for where is going to go offline first in the United States, Canada, it's going to be Alberta, northern Alberta. In the United States, where's it going to be? Pretty much just map this out and you can start to take this amount of yield off the table from this point forward. Because what's going to come out here is going to be poor quality anyway. 26% compared to 44%. Great, they're a third down as well. Let's go to the corn planting. It's in a different section of the country. Remember, corn grows in a little bit wetter, a little bit warmer. It's a different crop, different grow zone. But still notice they're only 17% planted compared to the 5-year average of 27%. I'll let you pause the screen here and take a look at the states. Wisconsin, 3 times lower than normal. You got to look at some of the key producers though. You know, Colorado compared to, say, something like Indiana, they're very different in the amount of production coming out of there. And again, Indiana down by over half. That is a key production state for corn. Same with Iowa. And the corn percent emerged, literally, it's just from the seed, it's just starting to come out as a new planting. 50% down. Look at the numbers. 3% has come out compared to the 5-year average of 6. That is 50%. Lower than normal. And you think that it's not going to drive your food prices up, that we're somehow magically going to pull into the silos and the carryovers from last year, and you're just going to go kumbaya-ing into the next year? Are you insane? We are at the point of losing our food production right now. And nobody's talking about it in the global mainstream media feeds. Let's take a look. This comes off the USDA report as well. They're showing you overall globally where the conditions are. Notice the early showers in Indochina. Basically over there, far right, down in Southeast Asia, they have been getting these out-of-season storms that are just massive record flooding in the middle of the dry season. So when they say early showers, that's really an understatement of to what's been going on. This is focusing on this specific week, but if we were to do more of a, say, last couple, 2-3 months, that would be massive flooding early season Indochina. Unseasonably wet in Argentina. We're talking about massive floods destroying crops down there already. I'll do a report on that coming up in the next couple videos. Showers in Europe finally alleviating. But wait a second, let's take a look at what the maps they have here for Northern Africa. Notice where the wet is. They had record floods in Algeria. And Morocco's been getting all-time record snows. I pulled up a few of these charts that I used in videos a couple weeks ago. You can see where the moisture bands are, where the temperatures are cooler than normal in Morocco in the same areas. And we saw these incredible temperature inversion and splits where massive cold fronts meeting massive warm fronts. We saw this last week across the U.S. where they had, softball-sized hail Whenever you see these lines, that is going to be a hail front. You need to really protect yourselves because the wind that they just experienced in Canada blowing at 20 miles an hour, it's like category 2+ hurricane, along with devastating grapefruit-sized hail. That's what the fronts are going to be like from now on, and it is going to intensify. Right now, it's so minute, the changes that we're experiencing compared to what's coming in 2020. Take a look over in North Korea, China, and Japan. Precipitation above normal. Look where it's drought in northern China at Heilongjiang. That's a major wheat growing area. And we'll see down where we've had those massive floods again and again, third, fourth year in a row in the Yangtze River Basin area. And here's where I marked off where we're going to lose crops first over in Asia based on what's happening in these last 4 years and based on what happened during the Maunder Minimum and the Sporer Minimum and the collapse of the Tang Dynasty in 800. It just rolls on. Just use a history book. Cycles are repeating, but I hope our better technology can get us through. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video. You are absolutely going to need to grow your own food during this time. That's why I am bringing you TrueLeafMarket.com, heirloom and organic seeds. You really need to start planting anything at all right now just to practice, because it is going to shock you by the end of the year how fast your food prices are going to go up. And then next year, it's going to double again. Good luck in your preparations.